This is your moderator again, Kaiser, staying in the light. Family Society. Now, I have put some videos here that should have been in my other YouTube platform, but I'm not going to change it. I'm going to let them stay here because even if people not in the family see them, they've been educated because everybody's miseducated. So, but it's really not for them. I want to make that clear. It's not for people who are not in the family. Okay, what we're going to talk about here is a thing that most of men know about is the woman's prerogative. And I want you to understand it. Because first off, you can't measure her like you measure a man. Give you a good example. Men say they're going to do something, then he's held to that idea because men have to keep their word. That's why they have testaments. You know what a testament is? You know what testify means? It means if you do not keep your word, then your testes will be cut off. That was testify means. So a testament, when you look at the word testament, they're really saying that men are stating these as fact. And if it's not true, they're willing to have their testes cut off. In other words, they do that to give validity to it, but it's all made up. It's all make believe, like Hollywood. I mean, you're free to believe what you want to believe. Everybody got that freedom. But women are not to be measured like men. They have what they call uh, right to change their mind. you know, because they're women, they can do that. So if she says she's gonna do something, you shouldn't put any weight into that because they have this thing called women. What you call it? Women. I'll think of it in a minute. Prerogative. Yeah, women's prerogative. So they being their sex, they are not definite about anything. And that's a good thing because that's a balance for us. In other words, you can't trust her to keep her word if she got a right to change it without notice to you. If she says she's going to do something, she could change her mind right after she said it. She don't have to tell you. And you can't fault her for that. That's called women prerogative. So, brothers, don't get hung up on women treating them like men because recently now women are trying to be more and more like men. Have you noticed they don't wear dresses anymore? I mean, very seldom do you see a woman with a dress on. I remember when our women in our family, in our tribes, we wore them down over the knees and wore socks over the ankles and wore scarves. Yeah, women wore scarves. All women had to have a scarf on. This is before your time, but I remember back in the 50s and 60s. They wasn't wrapped up like the women in the Far East, or really it's the Far West. This is the Far East, but that's another story. However, they did cover their head because they was following the scriptures that said a woman's head has to be covered. That's the Bible. That's biblical. So when you say women are being led to be more like men, this is because of integration, the people who are misleading them, taking them straight to hell. Because when we were separate, and there was nothing wrong with being separate, we wasn't acting like we acting now. Women was respecting me. I came upon that the 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 real uh, last part of that. In my neighborhood, anywhere I go, everywhere I go. Now I was a teenager, but women would give me respect. They say, "Hey, how you doing, sir?" Yeah, all ages, all ages would greet you with respect. As a teenager, because I was really at 13, you consider grown. You see, this society has made men, I don't know how to say it, just this. Let me just give you an example. If you go and just study people in other cultures, go to Africa. A boy, by the time he's maturity, when he's able to ejaculate, 12 and 13, he's given position of authority in his tribe because he's considered a man. He can make decisions of life and death. But here they have been regulated to children, and they act like children because that's all expected of them. So what we have to do, family, is you have to treat your young men as men, not just before they get to be uh, able to bear children, but even when they get to be growing up. And this is how you do it. You ask them what they want to eat for dinner. Give them a choice. Give the men a choice. And he grew up with that, knowing what's expected of his wife. You don't just come home and eat what the woman cooks. She asks you, what you want, honey? You want fish or chicken? Or, you know, give him some type of choice. That's where you have to start treating the boys specifically. And teach the girls how to respect the boys. It's not unusual to address them as sir. I'm talking about old culture. And I'm talking about the way it's supposed to be. But see, we got to get back to that because men are being disrespected. And when he's disrespected, he loses his God connection because he don't respect himself because everybody else disrespects him. You see? So we got to get back to our God power. Okay, what's up in the chat? Any intelligent thing? One thing I like is that some people being respectful. Okay, what's going on, John and Laurie Kosiliksi? We pronounce that. Koloski. Where y'all from? Put where you're from in the chat so I know at least where we are. We can't see each other. I can't see you and you can't see me. I'm in the Turtle Island. I'm in Central Turtle Island. If you don't know what that is, you need to look it up. So let me know where you from. Are you in the USA? I love people from outside the USA. I like to talk to them in their native tongue. I know a few, and it keeps me on my toes. That's one reason why I set up this channel to inform our family and to keep my skills sharp, to keep the knowledge I've learned, to use the knowledge I've learned. So I want you to leave with what I want to leave with you is that do not hold women to the standards of men. They have a thing called woman prerogative, meaning they can say something and not do it. She can make promises and not keep them. That's her. She has that freedom. It has to do with being a mother and bearing children. She gets certain rights that you don't have, men. You don't have that right to change your mind. That's why we say you acting like a woman. when you change your mind. And it's not making her negative. It's just saying that that's who she is. That's what she does. She cannot be definite on anything because she's made to be dependent. And that's not nothing negative. Look at it as look, women. Before you take that as negative, let me put it to you like this: as the supporter, anything go wrong, you're not responsible. The man is responsible for anything that goes wrong. So you don't have that burden. So isn't that a good place to be? Number two. And your support is what makes everything go right. You know, when he comes home and nice conversation and he receives the love there in his home and you support him in what he does, that makes everything go right because he's doing what he's supposed to do. But if you working, see, that's going to take away from the respect because he's the one who's supposed to be taking care of you. You're not supposed to be taking care of yourself. Why would you be married and working? I mean, I guess I'm old school. I just don't make sense to me. But women has been fed a wrong way of living. And the reason why they were fed that wrong way of living was to destroy the family. So women, y'all got to change your ways. The way you was taught is not right. It's like a war tactics, divide and conquer. Religion was a tool used in war. They send in the missionaries to put you to sleep, believing in something you can't see, and praising them because they always painted, whitewashed the prophets and all the gods who painted, not looking like them. So indirectly, you're worshiping the so-called master. And and those who didn't submit to that, that's when the war. They just came out and killed those who wouldn't submit to that way of life. That's what happened. Okay, well, thank y'all for being attentive and being respectful. I really appreciate that. And like I say, this is family. This is for family business. That's what I say in the description. This is family business. So if you're not of the family, it's really not your business. Okay, peace and love, y'all.